Welcome to the Capitalized Life YouTube channel. I'm Matthew Johnson, President and owner of Johnson Wealth and Income Management. I do hope you enjoy today's video. So let's have a conversation today about cash. Cash is an important component, and cash needs to be in all of our lives as a human being, but also as an investor. So when it comes to cash, we want cash in physical form and we want cash in book entry form as well. So I'm going to go through 4 different things that potentially could be very beneficial for you. I'd ask you to consider the fact that sometimes having cash at home or having cash stashed away is an important component. You know, there's just times in our lives, and we don't know if these times are going to come. We don't know when they're going to come. But if the bank is closed, it's a weekend, it's a holiday, something of that nature, we need to have cash in a very physical form that is easily accessible by us and to our family for emergencies. What happens if there's a storm and we need the cash? What happens if we have some problem in the middle of the night and we need the cash? So having cash on hand is an important component. Number 2, having cash in the bank. Now when it comes to working with clients that have money in the bank, it's important to remember that you want just enough money in the bank to be able to cover your biggest obligations. Now I work with people that have different comfort levels. Some people only need $10,000 in the bank to feel comfortable. Other people have a much higher level, maybe $100,000. But the reality is that if we're thinking about this cash in the bank as an emergency stash of cash, then we need to identify what those emergencies are going to be. So here's a few. First and foremost, remember that your biggest liabilities and risks in life are, for the most part, already covered by insurance. So if you totaled your car on the way to coffee, you spent some time in the hospital, and while you were in the hospital, your neighbor called and said, hey, by the way, a limb fell out of the tree from the windstorm and damaged your roof. Well, guess what? You're going to have car insurance, you're going to have health insurance, and you're going to have homeowner's insurance. And what that means is that you really don't need $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 of cash sitting in the bank, technically speaking. Why? Because you really only need to cover the deductible and the co-insurance. Now, there's things that occasionally happen, like we need to replace the air conditioner or the furnace or something like that. So we want to have a little extra cash. One of the more notable individuals dealing with finance in America today is Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey always suggests that having at least 6 to 8 months worth of wages is an important component. So if you've got this agenda for 2020 and beyond that you're going to build up a stash of cash, maybe that is the number for you to use. But remember this, that anything in excess of those emergency dollar amounts, you are now losing to inflation. It's working capital, it's not working for you. Now, number 2, when it comes to investing, I cannot emphasize to clients enough how important cash is. You see, when I review literally thousands of 401ks throughout the course of a year with clients and with individuals coming in for consultations, when I look at that 401k, what I will find most of the time is that it is 100% allocated. Now what that means is that if the market presents an opportunity, if the market goes down, you don't have any opportunity to participate in that outside of the normal pay period payroll deduction. So if you could set aside money, a percentage of money inside that 401k, inside that mutual fund account that you have, maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 15%, maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 40%. The stock market's at an all-time high, and your gut is telling you, you know what, it's time to take some winnings off the table. Well, if you set some money aside in the stable value fund, set some money aside in the money market fund, for those of you that are a part of thrift savings plans, it's called the G fund, it's the government bond fund. Now you're going to have an opportunity that when something comes swimming by, you can throw money at the deal. So having cash in an employer retirement program is very important. It allows you to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Number 3, and this is a personal one. You know, a long time ago when I was a little boy, my granddaddy always seemed to have cash in his pocket. Now, part of that was a generational thing, right? Because they didn't have debit cards, they didn't have credit cards, they simply paid cash for everything. But I've come to learn this as the acronym of WHAM. I even went to a conference and they talked about WHAM, and I was like, whoa, look at that. That's somebody else has recognized the same thing I have. And WHAM is just WAM, walking around money, okay? And having money in your pocket, I don't know what it does. And I'm not talking, a couple of dollar bills. I'm talking maybe $200, $300, $400, $500. If you want to carry 1,000, fine, whatever. But I have found that having cash in my pocket at all times is some sort of a psychological benefit to me. It just makes me feel good. And you know what? I have found that it becomes so easy to be able to be a blessing to others around me. Recently, I was at a restaurant and I had this very sweet waitress, and she was taking care of me, she was taking care of our family. And I noticed that she was pregnant, and I also noticed that she didn't have a wedding ring on. Now, society has changed, but something inside my heart just told me that she was struggling. And you know what? I had the cash, so not only did I pay my bill, but I also gave her an extra $100 bill for a tip. Now, I don't say this to impress you, I say this to impress upon you. The fact that maybe you're with family, maybe you're with a child, a grandchild, your spouse, whatever, and they see something through a window and they think, boy, that's really neat, I'd love to have that. And what if you just walked in and you bought it for them and you were a blessing that very day? What if you saw someone on the street and they were really struggling and you knew it, and you had the cash in your pocket to be a blessing to them? So having some walking around money in your pocket at all times is an important thing. It's called cash. And cash, if it is used as a tool, can be a blessing to you, it can be a blessing to others, it can be a blessing to your retirement. So remember, from here on forward, cash is an important tool. It is not a thing, it is a tool. And it is up to you to make today a great day. Thanks for watching.